guess we should get going. All right. I know it's super early. Welcome to Forex.Today, the YouTube community of more than 20,000 foreign exchange traders. We gather here today to conduct technical and fundamental analysis with the overriding goal of planning our trades in advance because, wait for it, trading is risky and not appropriate for everyone. Your past performance, good or bad, is not necessarily indicative of future results, but please stay small, stay humble, focus on the long term, and never risk money you cannot afford to lose. Ni hao ma. Hey, my name is Wayne. Look, super strange. You're like, dude, this webinar is not even scheduled to start for another half hour. I missed a webinar earlier today. Let me tell you, well, there was a little incident at the McDonald Manor, and let's just say lights were on, alarms are flying, all hell is breaking loose in the middle of the night. So, yeah, I was already exhausted, so I haven't had enough sleep. So I decided, oh man, I skipped the first webinar. I couldn't do it. I felt nauseous. And so anyway, so here I am up for the next webinar, and then I hit stream. I'm like, oh my God, it's only 7:30. The stream starts at 8. I'm like, oh, I don't know what's going on anymore. So anyways, sorry about that. So it's a weird time. Yeah, so let's just go with it. There is an ECB meeting that I might zip over to, and we'll stream that for a little bit, but I suggest we start by going through the charts and just looking at things technically. Some things are working, some other things are not working. It's kind of interesting, so we can go through that, and then I think maybe we'll just listen to some Euro econ babble, where they discuss whose fault it is for oil and gas prices being high. Couldn't be them though, right? Anyways, so in the description below the video, there are some links that I'd like to highlight. There's a free webinar you really should watch about how to potentially triple your profits without actually changing anything you do on your charts. You might even end up spending less time in front of your charts and doing better. There's a link to FX Bootcamp. That's my community that is almost exactly 20 years old now. That's older than your last guru. Huh? Yeah. So anyways, you might want to check it out. A lot of people like it. It's very helpful. It's probably the best $88 you've ever spent, in my humble opinion. But anyways, there's a link to my book. There's a link to quantbox.co. Huh? You don't like economics? You don't like quantitative analysis, but you know it's important. You just don't know how to do it and you want to automate it. That's what Quant Box does. There's a link to tradersway.com. I believe them to be a trustworthy and ethical foreign exchange trader or foreign exchange brokerage firm that not only is trustworthy and ethical, they just do a better job than these giant brokerage chop shops that have 30,000 retail traders all trading on one little tiny MT4 server. It's like, could be slow as molasses on a cold Georgia morning, huh? So anyways, Trader's Way is lean and mean, but they're also above average good looking. So if you're, anyways, tradersway.com, check out all those resources. They're there for you. So we'll get to this ECB meeting. They're doing this central banking forum. I thought you might want to check in on it. Like I said, I was just watching some of this, and they're talking about their energy costs and all that kind of stuff. So maybe we'll get back to that. It's interesting. I guess we'll just start here. There's two things that's going on, which is kind of interesting. You could be a bear on the yen pairs, but you could be a bull in the yen pairs. And I've spent some time over the last couple of days breaking them apart. Okay. So anyways, yeah, so I picked some that I would like to be long and some that I'd like to be short. And I didn't do any shorting, but I only did some buying. And I bought this one, and you can see I was quite a bit higher earlier today, but I'm able to at least move my risk to 0. So you can see that we had the up, the down, which was a buying opportunity, and then I bought into this day trade based on the day trade being a bounce off the 21, right? So it's kind of the second thing. It's made a higher high, higher low, and ideally, it doesn't fall any further than that. Now you say, well, what about this trade plan? Well, that's when I said, if you are a bear, and you could be a bear. And so we, you know, having discussed this in great length, you know, I say, well, if you look at the Nikkei, you could be a bear. But do you want to be a bear on pound yen? And your answer might be yes. But I declared yesterday, part of my vast knowledge of the foreign exchange market, there's 25,000 new contracts long Great British Pound. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to follow them and see where it goes. Now, if it collapses, I had a free look at the basket, took a shot, hit the rim, no big deal. Okay, so anyways, so that one's okay. I'm profitable on that one. Yip, yip, yip. That's pig. CAD. I have 100 or something pips locked in already, 100 pips, and I think it's up another 100 pips. So here's my entry down here. See, nice little kick off the 21. Then I've locked profit under this 21. Then it's made another high, right? So I can move it under this low, and that's 165 pips, 165 pips right there. I can lock that in. Okay, and look where our target is, right? So if I want to be even more conservative, I can pull that in. Okay, so so anyways, it started really nice today. You can see a new entry could have been done here. I mean, this is just a day trade. If you don't know how to day trade, I invite you to join our day trading group. Okay. One of the major benefits of the day trading group is just the fact that we do it every day, and it's kind of like hiring a fitness guru at your gym. Some of it is that they actually help you lift weights and put together a program, but most of it is you end up going to the gym just because you've paid somebody $50 or $100, right? That kind of stuff. So you're like, well, I don't really want to go to the gym today. The last thing I want to do after a hard day is, you know, do some squats. But I paid this jerk $100, so I guess I got to go. And then you end up going. That's a huge benefit. So you're like, I don't really want to do day trading today, but there's a meeting, I need to go. Okay. And so you end up doing what needs to get done. Anyways, that could have been your little day trade yesterday. And the point of it, if I zoom back in closer and maybe go, I guess I could change this to an hourly. Right, it would have been here, right? Down, and then look at the target. Profit target conservative. Oh my God. Yeah, like look at that to the exact pip. Oh, snap. So somebody's doing something right. Aussie, I want to stay away from. If I was a bear, I'd be a bear on this one. And it did go up, which is great because I'm not actually selling this, but I'm like, if I was a bear, and I said this last week, by the way, this trade plan, if I was a bear, I'd have it rise all the way up to 96 and then bring it down. Here's the thing. Now we have a double top higher high. Bulls are going to try to buy this. Okay. I think my drawing tool still doesn't work. So let me draw it differently from a bullish point of view. Remember, I'm long the other one, so I'm going to call that a double bottom. I'm going to call that a higher high, and I'm going to call this probably a buy zone. And tomorrow's trade plan is probably something like that. But tomorrow's trade would probably be today. Okay, so anyways, I think someone's going to count this as a double bottom. And then they're going to look at this as kind of like, you know, I don't know where you want to draw this, but sort of role reversal time, right? And this high, so if you prefer statistical analysis, Oh, look, it did exactly what I said. Did I do the right one here? No, I just did that one. This is the one I want. Okay. We might have a change in trend. We might, if you're a bull, that is. You don't really have permission to long a falling market until you get the double bottom higher high. So if you are based on eco or macro, you want to turn bullish, well, now you have permission to engage. We don't know if you're going to be right, but those are the right conditions. You know? Okay, looking at the dollar yen. Okay, here's that rally off the daily 5 EMA. And now we have hit that target. Okay. Aiden, the artificial intelligence that I'm teaching right now, might say, hey, there's a high probability that this very, very strong uptrend could stop being so strong of an uptrend. Risk is increasing. That's what I want Aiden to tell you. Hey, it's a good trade. You're a bull. That's very nice. The trend is very strong. Good for you. But caution is warranted. Wouldn't that be nice if you can have AI look for that for you? And then it says, oh, look, a double top could be forming, a bearish double top. You should take that into account. By the way, the site is built and we are actually working on and training the AI. That's how I am on that project I told you about 2 weeks ago. That's how far we are already. You're welcome, by the way. Okay. Project Aiden. Anyways, here's euro dollar. I jammed that, or euro yen. I jammed this stop. And now we have a higher high. So I feel really good about myself. Job well done. I can lock some profit on this one. You know, it's not even 100 pips, where the other ones are well over. Right? Like some of the trades, like I'm giving back quite a bit right here, but some of these trades, like CAD yen is 150, but like, and euro yen's only 80. But like the pound yen, I was on other things. Like this is the second or third iteration of the same trade. And this was up, 50 or 60 pips, an hour ago. But nonetheless, like I'm adding on. You know what I mean? Anyways, so new higher high, okay, begets a new higher low. So when I jam my stop, I got to be careful because I don't want this. You know what I'm talking about? So it's only 80 pips, for crying out loud. That's not enough. So I'm going to move my stop back. Well, you know what? I'll make it like a little pissy little day trade. All right, it's kind of embarrassing, but I'll lock in 50 pips. Why not? 54, 53, 52, 51. All right, 49 and a half. All right. But see, that's just the worst place. Whatever. Whatever. It's only money. And Swiss yen was another one we've been looking at, and it did make a higher high. Let me go into the hourly. And there's the trade plan from yesterday. And it's not great, okay? But a swing trade often takes the full week, right? So you got to look at it like, it's a multi-move, right? So you could almost I guess you would continue this and say, well, that's the target. I wouldn't think stopping there. So I would think stopping there. That's just how I would do it. And then, tomorrow, maybe like that. We need some more up, but anyways. But it seems to be slowing down. I was doing better before. Like, look at this move in the last 2 hours. And that's all my profit evaporating. Look at all this one. Even this one. Wow. Yeah, all this profit evaporating. Holy smokes. All right, so that's that. Let's look at the stock market. And this is what I'm really interested in. Do you remember yesterday I said there was a high potential of an update today? It'll get very interesting if the S&P 500 turns bullish, because that's where you'd want to buy a dip, or let's say the first opportunity to buy a dip. Okay. Oh Lord, it's hard to be humble when you're perfect in every way. Each time I look in the mirror, I get better looking each day. To know me is to love me. I must be a hell of a man. Oh Lord, it's hard to be humble, but I'm doing the best that I can. All right, so you're on high alert here, kind of like the McDonald manor last night. Dude, I have 2-stage alarms, dude. The first stage was going off, and you're like, it's cray-cray. And then it went to stage 2 alarms, and it like deafening. Deafening. Oh my God. At 3 o'clock in the morning. You know that awesome scene at the end of Scarface, where they're coming to get him, they climb all the walls and they're running across his compound and all the lights are on and stuff like that. That was my house last night. And I thought, it's not a good example because they kill him. Anyways, I won. So anyways, I'm not saying it will go up today, but this is a place to be ready, willing, and able. You know what I'm talking about? They just said market getting slow during summer vacations. Well, I predict July 14th that will change, and I think we'll probably have a more volatile summer than a typical summer. Now, maybe not more than a normal, trading market, but more than a normal summer market. Okay. Does anybody know why July 14th? Okay. And by the way, just in case if I'm not being clear, if we have a 5-8 cross up, then you end up buying it at the daily 21. You see how smart that is? That's so smart. Canada Day is not the 14th of July. Bastille Day. Fourth of July. No, 4th of July is not on the 14th of July. Anybody want to take a guess? You got to think forward, man. Think forward. When does the volatility come and when does the volatility go? FOMC? I don't believe FOMC is on the 14th. No. I mean, it's partially because of that, but that's the second stage of the catalyst. What's the first stage of the catalyst? Keep guessing. It's okay. It's cool, man. Yeah, FOMC is on the 26th. Thanks, Jim. How about typing a question mark if you're thinking about it, but you just don't know? Because I don't know, you might be making breakfast for your kid or something. You're like, well, I'm listening, Wayne, but I'm doing something else, right? If you're listening and you're able, either take a guess or put in a question mark. Thank you. Let me know you're alive. Seasonality doesn't pick out a particular day, Serge. Seasonality is like, ooh, how about this month or this quarter? Summer holiday. Nope. Right? No, I'm talking about a specific day, not random, general ideas. No. Earnings season starts. You start getting some of the banks reporting, so on and so forth, and we find out are consumers and businesses still spending? Well, in particular, are consumers spending and are businesses still profitable? Are they as profitable as they used to be? Maybe sales are good, but instead of 20% profit margins, there's only 8% profit margins. So you're like, oh, they're discounting. Is that because they have too much inventory? So on and so forth. And we start to find out, has the recession started? We want to have an idea of that before the FOMC on the 26th of July. So this is almost 2 weeks ahead of time. Before we get to FOMC, what are how is the FOMC going to vote? And we want to know that, right? So when that comes out, yeah. If you're around, you got to set that up. Okay. Yeah, well, Richard, not everyone's there yet. That's a very NASDAQ thing. But I can tell you, I have, 4 AI projects going on right now, and AI will revolutionize everything. I think most people have a misconception of like, oh, I'm just going to have a robot and it's going to do everything for me. No, that's not the right vision of the future. But imagine AI being more like a virtual assistant. They can help you do anything you want to do. Well, what if you don't want to do anything? You're like, I just want to be, fat and lazy and sit in front of the TV and have my AI make me money and do my dishes and vacuum for me. That's a fool's dream. No. By the way, get a Roomba. Huh? Get a Roomba. No, that's not so this might be your phone, right? What does it do? It just gives you a list, starting with, of the 20 restaurants near you, 8 of them are just ads. And then the other ones are like just stuff it grabbed off of Yelp or something like that. And you're like, this one's 30 miles away. Like, I'm not going to drive 30 miles away to get some Chinese food, even if it is good, right? Like, it just gives you this stupid list. It's dumb. Imagine now just sitting down with your virtual assistant that knows everything and never forgets anything. And you have a conversation. Your virtual assistant doesn't spit out a list. It talks to you. And it remembers what it said to you. And you can have a conversation with it. Where's the best Chinese restaurant near me? Well, do you like spicy Chinese food? Oh, not too spicy and stuff. Well, what do you prefer? Do you like noodles or rice? Ooh, I like noodles. You want like soup kind of thing? Or you want, like a buffet or tell me more about what you're thinking about. Oh, well, I really would like some duck. Oh, well, let me tell you about, the couple of different places you can go regarding duck. And all of a sudden you're like, dude, I'm having a conversation with a machine. You're having a conversation, not Google spitting out 8 ads and 12 stupid lists. Huh? Do you ever get these things like top 17 Chinese restaurants in, quote unquote, Atlanta for 2023? And you're like, this is just clickbait plus ads. You're like, yeah, how about instead of having a conversation? Yeah, so much better. Like that's just that one thing, the way that you interact with your phone, the way that you interact with your computer to find information is just going to radically change. But Google doesn't take it, an average person and make them a genius either. Well, AI is not going to make an average person a genius, but a genius can do the work of 5 geniuses with AI, maybe 10, maybe 20. Okay? Okay, so anyways, it's interesting stuff. Yeah, that makes sense, Andrew. Yeah, like stuff like that. Like I have a vision. I have a vision where AI gets so fast that we can like develop better drugs, and you won't need to do 6 years of clinical trials to find out that it doesn't work very well. Or if it does work, finally you get the medicine on the market. But by the time you get all the FDA approval and you do all the trial work, it takes 10 years and $3 billion to produce the drug. And so 2 things happen. By the time the drug comes out, you died waiting. Or they come out and they're like, oh, good thing you didn't die. We finally released the pill to you that's going to cure you. By the way, it's $37,000 per pill. And by the way, that's not even a joke. In America, there are many things. They're like, ooh, you have a rare cancer. Here's a pill. It's 25 grand. Like, I'm not even joking. So you're like, wow, what if you could do a lot of the clinical trials through genetic testing AI? And what if it leads to something like you get sick, you go to the hospital, they run a test, and they make a bespoke cure for you and your genetic makeup. So they're like, oh, you got this form of blood cancer. Okay, take this pill. This is for you. We're making this pill for you. It'll be done in 2 hours. We'll give you this pill, and then we'll monitor you, right? And you're like, wait, a drug made for me personally, for my situation? Yes. Can you imagine that? Dude, I can imagine that. It's not some generic cure for some generic cancer that, that kind of describes the aggregate of a million different cancers. No, how about a million different cures? You know what I mean? Like, I'm telling you, AI is going to go everywhere. Stuff like that. Huh? Yeah, anyways, we don't need to go there. She says 1 pill for muscular atrophy is $2 million. Yeah. And it has to be genetic specific. Yeah. So, okay, let's go with that, Ashish, right? Like, so I'm not talking about wild dreams, right? Like, it's possible. But imagine now with the adoption of better technology and better use of AI and stuff, like anything else, that cost could drop to $50 one day. David says, who fact checks AI? At the end of the day, it's flawed. Well, first of all, you're simply talking like ChatGPT. Yeah, you're right. It doesn't know what it's talking about. No, but it can learn and it can remember. And also what do they call it? Large language. That to me is only the interface. And you're right, it can lie to you. That's why, like I was kind of joking, but I kind of wasn't joking. If just imagine 1% of the planet is smarter than the other 99%. I'm not talking about wealthier. I'm talking about brains, right? What if that 1% could be 500% more productive? Imagine what the other 99% get. So yeah, but you have to be smart enough, as David points out, where it just spits out a bunch of gobbledygoo and you're like, wow, this is nonsense. So like, it can't do the work for you. And that's where people get confused. It's not going to do the work for you, but it can do your work better than you. So if you could use it like a personal assistant, like, hey, do this, do that. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? And you're analyzing it, but you're mentoring and grooming and training it. And it never forgets a lesson. ever. And you're like, analyze. Okay, imagine, let's say I buy a brokerage firm. I don't know if this is even legal or ethical. I don't know, but I was trying to just think of an example. Let's say I'm a billionaire and I just decide I'm going to buy the biggest Forex brokerage firm in the world. It's got, I don't even know what, 250,000 traders and let's say 100 million trades that these traders have taken over the course of the last 10 years. So it's all still in the database, right? Now, what am I going to do with it if I had all these records of all these trades placed, good, bad, ugly, it doesn't matter. I just have all of this. To me, it's just an expense. Like, why am I keeping all this crap on my server, right? Like, why do I need all this? But what if I had AI and I said, hey, AI, look at every single trade, all 100 million trades, and help me develop a methodology to either trade better or predict the near future based on 100 million trades. And make sure you plot all the Fed meetings, all the Bank of England meetings, all the Bank of Canada meetings, all the RBA meetings, right? Changes in policy, changes in interest rates, changes in business cycles. Do all of that. Never forget a thing. Analyze, crunch it, look for reliable patterns, spit it out, and tell me. Well, let me tell you, your intern won't be able to do that. Okay, your personal assistant on Fiverr ain't going to do that. But a machine can do that better than me, right, David? You see? So it's more like that. So it's like, look, so it used to cost $1 million or something to analyze your genomic sequence, and now and it took a long time. Now it takes an hour or something, and it's like $50 to analyze your genome. So imagine you had AI looking at the genome of 1 million people, of 1 billion people. And it could say, well, okay, we call this thing cancer, but there's actually 100 different types of cancers. And there's different types of cancers for different subsections of the genetic code. Right? Now, humans want to look at things and make everything about race and culture and all that kind of stuff. The machine doesn't care. It just says, okay, looking at all this aggregate, 99% of it's the same, but 1% is kind of different. So we're going to just look at this data set, organize it, and say, okay, in this aggregate, here's a group, here's a group, here's a group. It's not looking at your picture. It's not looking at the color of your skin. It's just looking at this group is more similar. This group is more similar. This group, okay, now let's break the cancers down for each one of those groups. And and it's just doing all this amazing work that would take humans a decade, maybe 3 decades. It'd take a whole lifetime. And AI is just doing it. And then it says, okay, I can cure 9 different cancers for this group, 4 different types of cancers for that group, none of the cancers in this other group, all that kind of stuff. And it's doing it without bias. It doesn't look at your sex, your religion, your height, your weight, all that kind of stuff, your income level, what country you live in. It's just data, man. So anyways, I'm super excited about the future. Right. She says it's down to 25. Honestly, 3 months ago it was 50. Like, it's that exponential. So like, Ashish, you're like, hey, for 2.1 million, I can control your muscular dystrophy or at your muscular atrophy, whatever I think you said. For 2.1 million, I can cure it. Hey, in 5 years, it'll be like, for $1,000 I can cure it. You're like, ooh. And then 3 years later, yeah, it'll be $25. And you're like, oh, you got muscular atrophy? Oh, here's your pill, man. You know what I mean? So yeah, the future is wonderful. Speaking about the future, if you are a bull in the S&P 500 and you believe the recession is overblown, this would be a price in which you would consider to buy. What you're trying to figure out here is time. You already know the price. The only thing this chart tells you is price and time. So you're approaching the appropriate price to look for a reversal. Okay, so I'm like the artificial intelligence, except I actually have intelligence. But I want to teach AI so it can do this for you to say, we don't know what the future is. I can tell you the trend. The trend is up. How do I know that? Okay, well, there's different measures, right? Well, the 21 is below the 55. So actually, I could argue this is not bullish. Another way of doing it is measuring the slope of the mean of prices, right? You find the mean, the trend in the mean prices, and then you measure the slope of the mean, and it's a positive integer, so this is bullish, okay? And the other thing I can tell you is we're pretty gosh darn close to one standard deviation. No, wait, actually, you know what? I thought this was something. Oh, I might be wrong. Sorry, I was doing this too quick. No, here's the trend. All right, sorry, this is the mean here. I thought this was the mean. No, I have so much drawn here. Okay, no, sorry. Here's the mean price. Here's one standard deviation below the mean, one standard deviation above the mean. Here's the breach of the mean, the retest, okay, and now we have the cross. So this move here, and I don't have my drawing tool, but you could measure it this way for now. But again, going back to what we were talking about, it's the if-then statement. I'm trying to get this. Okay, so that's up. This is down. Okay. And now you want to think ahead. And like I said, what would you do if we headed down to, let's say, 43-ish? So let's say it opened down today and then stabilized around 4,300. Then if it creates, a bounce today, so let's say it starts bearish today, but closes bullish, then you have the potential of this breakout the other way. And you would start, and this is not going to draw for me. No, I'm trying to get this to go bullish. It can't because it's bearish. But this would turn up. And of course, I can't get that done, right? You see? So we don't know if it's going to fall. We don't know if it's going to rise. But the thought is, if it hits here, then stops, and then turns bullish, you could believe it, and therefore it would be a meaningful change in direction. In fact, the market may continue to be bullish again, okay? Because on this time frame, let's go back in. This time frame, it's very bullish. You see, if you're only on one time frame, you're just like, no, Wayne, it's bearish now, it's turning down. That might be the case. That might be true. But that is a daily 21, and it is important. It is relevant. It's a statistically relevant data point. In times past, it has acted as support. So in my book, I say that it's a dynamic level of support. Okay? Lordy, lordy, we likes to party, we don't cause trouble, and we don't bother nobody, cause, hang on. Oh, I see what okay. Cool. So, can somebody confirm what day non-farm payrolls is? What day is it? Is it coming out the 7th? I thought did I schedule? I was going to launch the new version of Quant Box, or the update to Quant Box. There's a major update. There's also a major update to FX Bootcamp. Holy smokes. Major, like these are major, like shockingly major. But NFP's that day, right? Shoot. I scheduled launch date that day. Am I able to do NFP? I'm gonna have to. It's kind of cray-cray, huh? I think I'm gonna do non-farm payrolls and then launch out Quant Box. A Sky Killer, because it's an important, different intellectual property. Okay. And it requires different developers, different servers, different databases, different everything. Okay. So it's just completely different. Right. It really is a self, it's a different company. What can I say? It's not doing the same. So also I have a different vision for it too, like Sky Killer. Like one day, for example, if you're an institutional investor, I can lease it out to you. If you want to hire me as a consultant, so I do consulting work for hedge funds and stuff, right? There's maybe even a bank. There's a lot going on. It would likely to be done through that. Like FX Bootcamp is obviously an educational service for retail Forex traders. And they're like, I don't know if I want to hire, a bank doesn't want to hire a retail Forex trading guru, right? Because of all the idiots on YouTube. But, to hire somebody from, a quantitative analysis shop, right? It makes sense, right? And so they hire me as an economist. But also one day, what if you wanted a macro-based fund advisor? So you run a hedge fund, right? And you want a trading strategy based on pure macroeconomics. Well, Quant Box potentially could do that for you, right? And so that would be so Quant Box would offer the software and solutions and advisory and all that kind of stuff. And it just doesn't, it's not appropriate to put it through FX Bootcamp, right? It's so good, it stands on its own feet, kind of thing, if that makes sense. So here we are, hurry up and wait. Huh? Okay, and you're sitting here like, wait for it. So there's a lot of lines now. Let's just clean this up. I'm going to put a bullish just because we're talking bullish. Okay, and we've been stepping down. And the next thing is, right, let me be clear on this lousy, no good 15-minute chart. Okay. Some version, some scenario that looks like that. Okay. Cool, right? So anyways, yeah, so Quant Box is good, but it can be a lot better. I recognize that. It's really, really good. But I'm likely to be hiring a data scientist with a background in economics and finance. I have an AI team now in Hong Kong developing my AI work. Boy, if I put those two people, those groups together and say, let's focus on Quant Box. What could a data scientist slash economist slash Wayne McDonald slash AI developers, what could we do? Could we do something interesting? Well, it's just time and money, isn't it? I'm like, ooh. So if you help me by subscribing, I can help you by creating the future. Okay, so anyways. Yes, Guy Killer, I searched the world. And it was a great conversation because I said, well, help me on the predictive. Like, how could we predict the next? Let's imagine the UK is going to release GDP next week. Okay, in 7, 8, 9 days from now. And I said, okay, how could we predict what that number is going to be? How could we do it today based on AI? And he just spouted out just this long answer. He thought about it, which I appreciate. And then he spouted out all this information that we would use this information, but we'd use it in this way, and we do it this, and we do that. And he had this great, long, detailed answer. And he's like, you take all this information and you put it in this style of model, and you churn it and do this and do that and do that, and it will spit out the number. And so what is it that we would actually be doing? We'd be looking at economic data and maybe some high frequency data, and basically calculating the UK GDP ourselves, the same way that the UK government would gather C plus I plus G plus the net exports, right? Money coming into the economy, money leaving the economy. Put it all together using, and they're like, well, we don't have perfect data. No, we don't. But we could look at like retail sales. We can look at inventory levels. We could look at the IMF's projection for GDP now and in the future, and the accuracy of over time. So if the IMF always gets it in a certain percentage, then we could like weight that kind of information. So all of a sudden, not only will we look at C plus I plus G plus net exports, but then we'll look at all this other stuff, score it, rank it, position it, spit it out, where like there's an 82% probability or confidence level that next week's UK GDP will come out at this number. So let's trade it today. You're like, oh God. Okay. Oh God. So if you put enough time and money into it, we might be able to do it. So anyways, that's why I'm not sleeping. That's why I'm not sleeping. Yeah. That's okay, right? Because in a way I work for you. So you're like, dude, my Forex pitch works tirelessly. Your buddies are like, wait, you got a Forex pitch? You're like, yeah, he's cool, man. Works night and day for me. He's doing stuff for me that you wouldn't believe. Anyways, look at that. You think this is statistically? Yeah, My bitch went to Harvard. Yeah. Right? Anyways, look at that kickoff to 21. Oh my God. Yeah, that's an important move here, man. That's an important move. So let's get off that. Let's look at commodities. Oh, I'm going to get knocked out of break even. Oh, that's so sad. This is just bad timing. So yesterday, remember I took a short on gold? I said, a lot of people have trouble selling gold. Here's how you do it. Boom. Sold it. And I don't know. I was up. I don't know. I had $150 or something. And it's just been farting around ever since. But my little portfolio, my little positions for yesterday, I was up 400, and now I'm probably only up. No, I'm probably out of half my trades. 250. So, anyways, I've given a lot back. Okay. Well, David, that's because they were both strong at the same time. So that wouldn't, you're right, that's going to produce the low vol, right? Well, the best thing to do here is just remove my risk. So once again, I have 250 pips profit. I can't lose any pips. So I'm going to, I'm pretty slow today. I'm pretty tired. Like, I'm not even joking. This webinar started at 7:30. I don't even know what I was thinking. That's how tired I am. I'm like, wait, I have a half an hour before this even starts. So, boom. Like, I'm just, oh. So, I'm going to try to take it slow today. Right, I'm going to try to take it slow today. Now, at 4 p.m., we do the stop, look, and correct session. I need to set it up, don't I? Shoot, I need to get that on a better schedule. Community meetups. So I got to create a meetup for us today. Well, stop, look, and correct. Oh, I know, the challenge. That's what I need to do. So today, we have our stop, look, and correct session at 4 p.m. in the private room. Make sure you RSVP so that you get the link emailed to you. If you're not RSVP'd, you won't get the link emailed to you. Pretty simple. And so what we do, folks, during these stop, look, and correct sessions is you go to the stop, look, and correct challenge, and I don't have one set, okay? But I will create one, and you upload a trade plan, one that you're thinking about doing, but it might have been a trade plan you actually took, and you want some feedback, some personal feedback. Okay? And we go through those charts. Yeah. And I'll ask you questions if you're there. I'm like, hey, so tell me about this. Talk to me, Goose. Why, what are you trading here? And you'll say, oh, well, I'm doing this, and I'm a bear, and well, why are you a bear? Oh, well, blah, 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 blah. Well, what do you think about technically? How do you think it's set up? Blah, 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 blah. Well, what are the risks to this trade? Blah, 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 blah. Well, cool, let's take a look at it. And I pop open your chart, and I'm like, cool, look at this. What is this? What is that? Okay, I see what you're thinking here, but what about this? And what about that? And we talk through it together like, oh my God, we have so much fun. It's so awesome. But you have to be a member of FX Bootcamp and a member of any of the live groups, whether it's the day trading group or the swing trading group. It doesn't matter. All live group members attend. So I will set that challenge up. Okay. And you'll be able to upload your chart. Okay. Hang on. Hang on. Maybe I could just do it now. Create custom. Upload a trade plan. new or old. Okay. Get personal feedback on your trade planning. Cool. Hang on. Live swing group. No, it goes to everybody. Actually, no, it'll go swing true. Cool. Next. Upload a photo. Okay, I'll do that. Boop, boop, boop. Almost done, everybody. Hang on. I just want to get it done. Hang on. See, I can't multitask. Just trying to get it done. Hang on. Trying to get it done. Can't find the image I was going to use. I guess we'll use this one. I don't know what it is. Okay, decent enough. Upload. All right, so here it is. Now I'm back. Upload a trade plan, new or old. Get personal feedback on your trading. 8 hours to complete. Yeah! And so it'll create a list of all your trade plans, and I'll go through them, and you can post images, multiple images, so I look at your charts. It's all good, man. It's all good. Yeah, baby. All right. So anywho, is that right, Sky Killer? Yeah, I appreciate that feedback. Yeah. All right. So commodities, oil's down to, gold is right. The thing is how, when do you buy a dip on oil? And you can start threading that narrative now. You can. I don't know your rationale for being a bull, let's say, but there is plenty of rationale. I'm not saying really anything. I don't know if I want to be a bull or a bear, but I can tell you, excuse me, that we're near support, and I don't like being a bear at support. So if you were benign and you're like, I'm just technical, Wayne. Okay, if you're just technical, you wouldn't be a bear here. Okay? Dude, I still have that gold watch on my desk. Dude, it's heavy. It's so much heavier than the one I'm wearing. I love it. So we're going to do a conference someday soon. I hope next year. I hope. We need to. And I do need to do that cruise. I do want to do that. I got to get some of these new things out of the way that I'm already launching. But I had this vision of our conference will be more than just talking about fundamentals and technicals and trading strategies, but we'll definitely do all that. Probably have some guest speakers, right? Pay somebody, pay a famous trader to come talk to us, that kind of stuff. And I think we could have a lot of fun. But I'd like to focus a little bit in the conference, maybe during breaks or something, talking about, I don't know, like billionaire lifestyles, like how to talk to a rich person, for lack of a better idea. But imagine, so I had this vision, like, let's say, because, these are hotels or conferences or, pretty typically you get a giant room with, let's say, round tables. We're doing group work and there's, let's say, 8 people to a table and there's all these round tables, right? What if at every single table there was a secret box, just a box? And we come out and maybe I have a a watch expert come out and talk about, you know, why people collect watches, the value of watches, what's collectible, what's not collectible, all that kind of stuff, right? And then we do some group work. And I say, okay, every table's got a box. I want you to, for your group, open the box, and inside the box there's a watch. I want you as a group to research it and do a 3-minute presentation about this watch. And in like a 45-minute session, you've learned a lot about high-end watches. Wouldn't that be cool? Stuff like that. Or bespoke clothing, or a 45-minute presentation about yachts. So you know a little thing about yachts. And if we could have a cocktail party on the yacht, that even better, right? But how many people would enjoy something like that, like in between strategy sessions and, you know, economic outlooks, and maybe talking to a professional hedge fund about what they do all day, every day. But in between all of that too, you learn about, I don't know, fancy things. Would anybody be into that? Like how to judge a fine watch and know some of the big ones that are well known. Like, oh, Patek Philippe, that's a beautiful watch. Okay. Anybody? Or am I off on that one? How to judge, how to know like bespoke tailoring, right? Just learn about, you know, how, you know, if you were going to have a custom pair of shoes made, and you're like, well, you know, like, do you know what a last is? Do you know how to judge a fine pair of shoes? Can you tell if the shoes are worth $200 or $2,000? It'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it? No? Just me and Ashish, huh? Nobody else would care about that? All right, cool. It's good feedback. I won't waste time on it. All right. I was thinking about switching over and doing some ECB, and I don't even know where it went. This is the live stream. What's this? No, that's that. No. I had it teed up. Johnny says, I don't wear watches, but I have had custom shoes made. Yeah. Well, the thing that I'm thinking about, so maybe I'm not being clear. If you're going to trade other people's money, in particular rich people's money, do you know how to be rich? You know what scares a rich person? Poverty. Poor people. So it's a weird conundrum. You want to manage money from rich people so that you yourself can get rich. But rich people don't like poor people. And so how do you know what I mean? Like, so can you have a conversation with someone that is 10 or 100 times wealthier than you? Well, you might have nothing in common. Right? So, but it might be valuable information, right? So, be cool. So, how to judge a fine wine, how to judge a fine whiskey, how to judge a fine watch, how to judge a yacht, how to, Ferrari Lambo 101. Okay? I mean, you got to know, like, a rich person would probably say, I'd rather die than wear a Rolex. Okay? You're like, oh, really? So bourgeois, right? So anyways, I think it'd all just be absolutely fascinating, right? Yeah. So anyways, so it sounds like tepid response. Okay, tepid. Okay. I mean, like diamonds. What do you know about diamonds, right? Yeah, I talk to wealthy people and fund managers all the time. Diamonds come up all the time. It's a very common conversation. Anyways, so my WTI breakout pullback, we're not quite there, but if you're a bull, you could seriously start thinking about the up. That's close enough, in my opinion, is the next move. Because I said, remember a couple of days ago when we were in this gray box or purple box, whatever it is? I'm like, you need to decide, are we going from 70 to 60? Okay. Or are you going to buy it at, 67? Well, it's now too late to sell it. You should have sold it at 70, boy. Son. Okay. But now we dropped to 68, in fact, close to 67 and a half. And you can't be trying to figure out what to do now. Dude, where were you like a day and a half, 2 days ago when I'm like, dude, you have to decide. Are we going from 70 to 60? Yes, then get your trade on. Drop a stop. Now that it's dropped $2 or $3, and now you want to trade it, well, dude, it's way too late. What's wrong with you? This was yesterday's trade, right? So today's trade is, do you have orders at 67 and a half, 67 and 66 and a half? Are you buying the dip? You know what I mean? There you go. Tim's like, got it at 67.45. Boom. Okay. And now praying never hurts, right, Tim? Okay, cool. Oh, wow. Ugh. Oh, all right. All right. Louis says, if you're bullish on the S&P, buy above 43,440. So why would you buy high, Luis? The low of the day should be around 43.29. Projected target. All right, let's talk about that. You threw a trade plan on there? Yeah, sure. Oh, gold took me out. I'm out. Right? Too bad, so sad. All right. So it looks like we might get that risk on day. All right, so let's go back to the stock market. Let's open up the S&P 500. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Let's zoom in a little bit better. So, okay, let's do this. Louis says, okay, buy above 43. What? That throws me off right away. Okay, above 43.40. 43.40. Let's start with that. Well, 43.4. So that's now. So you're on a very small time frame. Okay. 43. So I already have that set up, but I unless I'm reading your post incorrectly, like you have it as a breakout type trade. I hate that. I agree with the price, but I would never buy here, but I would always buy there. And you're like, dude, it's the same price. Yeah, but this idea of you buy on the breakout, so buy if it breaches above, don't like that. But anyways, we agree at the price, though. The low of the day should be 43.29. Yeah, well, we already got that. Yeah, I mean, I knew that yesterday, right? Look. Okay. All right. So, yeah. Okay. So, again, I don't disagree. If this is going to go up, it'll look like that. Okay. I disagree. I agree with that. First projected tier is 43.51. I have 43.54. So it's a pissy little day trade that you're outlining, which is fine. Second to be 43.62 to 43.73. All right, so the weekly central pivot. Yeah, I already did all that. You got it. So it depends on how you do it. I would agree with those numbers, generally speaking. Yeah, pretty basic. But I would buy here probably later today or tomorrow. So like, let's say New York close. Okay, it could pop up and then drop and then I buy it. And but the breakout in the language of what you posted, I disagree with. That's all. So the idea that it goes higher and then you buy it high? No. Your stop would be below this. Okay. So yeah, that's Luis. That seems fine. I get it. Cool. Yeah, I don't buy higher highs, and that's the thing. Like, and that type of trading, at least back in the day, used to be taught, and I disagree with it. And remember, I'm self-taught, so I learned what other people were learning because some guru taught them how to trade, and then they came to FX Bootcamp. You understand? So they came and they're like, "This is what I was taught," and I'm like, "Wow, really?" They're like, you know, I would hear things like, "Wait for 3 green candles to close above 43.40." So now you're way out at this top, and then you buy. I'm like, okay, here's what I would tell boot campers back 20 years ago. I'm like, I've never been taught. I've never had a guru. And it's still the same, right? So, but imagine this 20 years ago. You've come from some guru. You paid them $1,000, $2,000, $5,000. Back then, it'd be probably at a hotel conference room on the weekend when the markets are not even open. And they teach you how to trade. And they're like, yeah, if it goes higher, you know, wait 3 candles to confirm, and then you buy it high. And I remember kind of in the beginning being dumbfounded by it, but then being convinced that it was wrong later, because I was taught by observing the market, not by some guru. And so I'm like, really? Well, I observed this a long time, right? I've observed many breakouts. And what I observe is most of the time is you get, like, let's say a breakout. So bears are being stopped out. So you get a breach, green candle, higher high, more stops are hit, green candle. Next one is green candle. What do you think happens next? I'd say, well, my experience is the early bulls take some profit and then it turns red again. I'm like, that's my experience. So what I prefer is to, okay, observe the break and then allow it to hit the top, allow it to pull back, and then I can buy it. Now, ideally, this went higher than that high, but we'll do it this way. And then it turns green again and breaches that level. As soon as we breach this level, I move my stop to break even. Okay? It's going to go to a new level. And then it's going to turn red again because these guys are going to take profit. And who didn't take profit here is going to take profit. So it comes back down to this level. And then it turns green again. Okay? And I'm like, that's the type of price action I observed. Like, nobody taught me that. I just looked at it 10,000 times. And so what I found is if you buy on the breakout, you get knocked out of break even because as soon as it starts falling, so let's say you're up 20 pips quick and then it drops back down, you get knocked out of break even, right? And I think we've all observed that through our own trading, where you're like, man, it broke out and then I got knocked out at zero, right? Then the next thing that happens is if you do the trading strategy of wait 3 candles after the breakout and then buy, what happens is every time you do a trade, you drop -30, -40, and then you spend the rest of the day watching it get to break even, in which you probably bail on it anyway. So you took all that risk, took the drawdown, and didn't even get paid. So what the hell was the point? What I observed early on was if I could just assume it's going to pull back 20, 30, 40 pips, then there's 2 steps to a trade plan. 1, observe the break. You're like, oh man, I guess we're going bullish. Sweet. And then the second one is buy the dip. So you see the breakout and you're like, oh God, well, I guess in 4, 5, 6 hours, maybe tomorrow, I'll catch a dip and I'll buy and I'll be long tomorrow. So I'll just let it fall 30 or 40 pips and then I'll buy it. Okay? And that's what the market taught me. And that's what I teach you. Okay? Okay? But again, imagine the story when I first started trading Forex, there were no books. There were no gurus on YouTube because YouTube had not been invented yet. If you wanted to buy a book, you didn't go to Amazon.com. You went to Barnes & Noble and you bought a Starbucks cappuccino. Why isn't the yuan in the basket? Because it's not a free-floating currency. It's stifled with capital controls. There's an onshore yuan and an offshore yuan, for example. You're like, wait, what? So which one do you want in the basket, right? Right, so anywho. So notice what I'm sharing with you here. We're observing a potential reversal on the S&P 500 and planning out tomorrow's trade. I've always said, if you show up in New York looking for what to do, you've already lost money. If you just show up and are like, what are we doing today, fellas? Or, oh, we're going to buy some S&P 500. Oh, look, it make a higher high. Buy it high. You've lost your money. You're not adding any value. Huh? You look for trades like a chicken looks for food out on the farm. Food? Food? Peck, peck, peck. Food? Peck, peck, peck. Wink, wink. Food? Food? Peck, 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 peck. Food? You're like, oh my God. Okay, so you have to be smarter than the average chicken. You understand? What's going to happen in the near future? What are you going to do tomorrow? Do you want to be the chicken or the farmer with the chicken coop? Huh? You have a nice soft pillow and mattress to sleep on. You have nice eggs in the morning. For dinner, a little fried chicken. It's much better to be the farmer than the chicken. Huh? Hoorah! So anyways, go get them out. Go get them. There's $7 trillion floating through the air today. Some of it could be yours, but you got to earn it. You need to create value. What's your value? randomly walking around, or spending the majority of your plan creating, or your majority of your time creating plans and strategies? Okay? If you're in a situation, we all get there, where you're depressed, you're losing confidence, you're wondering if you can make it as a Forex trader. Maybe it's all a scam. Maybe it's all for the gurus and all the brokers and everybody's against you. Maybe it's rigged. All the central banks lie to you. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that nobody makes money trading Forex. So I guess you'll buy that course on real estate syndication from that other guru on YouTube. Maybe that's how you become a millionaire. Well, hell's bells. Nobody's hunting your stops. Nobody's out to get you. A broker would love for you to be a profitable trader that just makes trades day in and day out for years and years and years. They'll provide you a service, and you will provide them an income. And employees can put food on the table. It's a really good business model. A broker should want profitable traders. Not if they're trading against them, of course. But a real broker would say, oh man, we got lots of clients and everybody's happy and we provide them a good service and they're good traders and they're doing really well and we're happy for them. So they wouldn't be hunting your stop. Okay? But your discontent, your sadness, your lack of confidence is probably coming from a lack of analysis and strategy and research. You don't know what you want to do tomorrow. And when you don't know what you want to do, that means you're out of control. And there's no way you can feel confident if you have no control. I mean, think of it. You don't have control over the markets, okay? But if you don't have control over the markets and you don't have a control over yourself, how do you feel? Out of control. Okay? Now it's like being in active combat. You don't know if you're going to make it through today or not. You might get killed. You don't have control over that. You want to just lay in the foxhill in a fetal position and cry. But your training will help you survive, increase your odds. But you have to have confidence. You have to have the training, but you also have to carry out your training. You can't think your way into losing weight. You have to lose weight, and it's hard. You can't think your way or hope your way into becoming wealthy. You actually have to do budgeting and investment and defer pleasure. Let me tell you about heartache and the loss of God, wandering in hopeless night. That's a line from Jim Morrison, a poem that he wrote. Heartache, that's that lack of confidence. The loss of God represents the loss of hope. You don't want to get to that place as a trader. If you lose confidence and then you believe there's no hope, that the whole thing's rigged and everybody's against you and the whole thing is a farce and a lie, well, it is for you. You never want to get to that place where you quit and walk away, because this is the greatest opportunity I've ever seen as a high-tech entrepreneur and as a venture capitalist. I've never seen anything remotely as good as this. There isn't anything better. You need to scuttle your ships. There's no way back. You fight to the death. But again, if you don't have the research to back up what you're going to do, then it's all random. You're random, the market's random, and you want some consistent results. It doesn't make any sense. Your research should tell you the 20 things you don't want to do today and tomorrow. And you're waiting around for the one thing that might look good. Nice. Now you actually have control. If you're waiting for a trade, you have control. Yourself, you've controlled yourself. So where does the heartache and the loss of God come from? Well, the second part of the poem is wandering, wandering in hopeless night. That's your random trading, your randomness. You're random. The market's random. You don't know what you want to do. You take a trade, but you don't know why you took the trade. Wandering, wandering in hopeless night. You got to change it. You got to stop that. Okay? This is what my third book is going to be about. You have to stop that. My third book is all on trader psychology. Okay? Out here, there are no stars. Can you imagine walking through the desert, no stars, no way to find your direction, your location? You're just... What happens to a person who randomly walks through the desert? They die. They die. Simple enough. Face down in the sand. Okay? So you got to take a stand for something. Are you a bull or a bear on the stock market? Are you a bull or a bear on the dollar? Are you a bull or a bear on the yen? See, you will stand for something or you'll fall for everything. Oh, look, it broke out. I guess I should buy. So whoever bought at that little challenge at that 43.40 just lost money. That's why I have my rules of engagement. So like I said to whoever posted it, oh, a break above 43.40, I agree with that, but I wouldn't buy it on the break. Why? Because look what just happened. That's why. So if it breaches that, then I will buy it here at 43.40. Maybe later today, maybe tomorrow, maybe never. Because I have rules of engagement that help me survive. Okay? My number one goal, and I said it in my book, I said it in FX Bootcamp 20 years ago. My number one goal is not to make you filthy, stinking rich. My number one goal is help you survive the first 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 years. And if you can survive that long, you could probably actually make it. Most people flame out big and fast. And my goal is to get you to year 3, year 4, year 5. And that means you have patience, you have discipline, you're trying real skills, you're learning the ropes, you're a tough son of a gun. Okay? And everyone else, what can we do? Wish them the best. Okay? But let me tell you, okay, if you don't have a lot of time and you're trying to get rich quick and you don't have any money and you don't know any rich people, that real estate syndication course ain't going to help you. Well, you're not patient, you're not disciplined, you don't have any money, and you don't know any rich people, so like that ain't going to work. So you should go back to this Forex thing. Forex offers you leverage. You can only go up, down, or sideways. You can access it from a laptop, from a cafe in Kathmandu. Okay? Everywhere I've been except the beaches in Cuba. You might not be able to trade Forex from the beach of Cuba, but pretty much everywhere else. Okay? So you need a laptop, you need an internet connection, and you need patience and discipline. And if you can do that, you have not just a career, but a business. And you can compete against the biggest hedge fund managers in the world or the dumbest retail traders that are degenerate gamblers doing things when they don't know anything. Well, that's good for you if you're patient and disciplined, you see? It's $5 trillion a day, and you think you got a better opportunity? You're not willing to fight for the death for Forex? Oy vey. So every once in a while, you got to, man up, put your big girl panties on, and fight to the death, okay? A Viking or a Valkyrie, you fight to the death because there's nothing better. Forget about the dreams. Forget about flying in a private jet and living in a giant mansion and driving a hypercar. Fight for the best opportunity to live a worthy life and die in comfort. There's nothing more intellectually interesting as a career. There's nothing that gives you faster, instant gratitude. You have good leverage, great taxation system. You earn income as well as asset appreciation. No inventory, no cash, no payables, no receivables. You could trade other people's money and earn income that way. And oh my God, there is nothing half as good. This is double the best thing in the world, but I bet you it's better than double. I mean, it's quadruple. It's exponentially better than anything else in the world. So fight for it. I'll see you today at 4 p.m. for the Stop Looking Correct session at fxbootcamp.com. Peace on earth. May the pips be with you. May our profits be above average. I wish you the best and the greatest success. Go get it.